We won't rest. We won't rest.
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need.
And I would just ask all of you all who are enraged about this, how's it going right now? How's the current management doing?
not
really all that well.
To answer you, and that's
Terrible.
That's because of Americans' weapons and American inability to enforce.
You're blaming us for the management problems in Gaza? Playing the role of Catherine tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the American left is so far off the rails, they're going to have to get Google Maps to find their way back. They are way gone right now.
I got a few clips to share with you guys today. As usual, the timestamps are in the video. This first part is hilarious, so let's get to it. I'll give you my thoughts after the clips.
Democrats agree that Musk is a problem, but listen to them today, and they have a piñata in search of a stick.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need a real leader. Okay, they need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party, and they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks and Elon Musk. I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
Project 2025,
we knew
as
it.
you just talked about.
We knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done, from the young vote to tech, to a million other things. So Democrats needed to have a plan, and it may be too late.
Yeah, Bakari, are you fired up after seeing
I'm fired up and ready to go. Can't you see it in my face?
I think the highlight reel that you just played, spliced with the highlight reel of all the people trying to run the Democratic National Committee at their organizational meeting, ought to be put together, and we ought to take money from the Republican National Committee and play it on a loop. Ladies and gentlemen, the American left is so far off the rails, they're going to have to get Google Maps to find their way back. They are way gone right now, and it's glorious.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in a moment. That lends to an important question. Why is it, Scott, that Elon Musk claims that it is a crime to tweet out the names of the 6 individuals who I have to assume are government employees, maybe they're not, who are going around and carrying out his orders and telling people, for example, to not come into work at an entire federal agency, who are going into the Treasury asking for access to a sensitive payment system? How is it a crime to know who those people are?
I don't know if it's a crime or not. I think it's certainly untoward to try to because you're trying to sick an angry mob on people who are showing up to try to
first of all,
act on behalf of the President of the United States.
First of all, this is his platform, okay? If his own platform is an angry mob, that's one thing. But he also does this all the time. And these are people who are doing things that affect Americans. They're working in the government.
Well,
I don't see why it needs to be a secret.
They're doing things that affect the bureaucracy, which is why you see all the rage today.
You don't think that this stuff affects Americans, Scott?
I mean, yeah, probably in a positive way. And I'm glad to see Democrats are coming around to the idea that the unelected people who might be involved in the running of our country are important, because you seem to have no interest in that for the last 4 years under the last administration. Here's the bottom line. You know what that means is that you had a president who was not functional, and you know it.
We're talking about Biden. Okay.
Actually, by that same token, I mean, if you're concerned about the people around Joe Biden running the government, why aren't you concerned about?
Because I don't have any concern that this president is functional. He's a functional president, and Musk is an agent of the president.
Why are you not concerned that Elon Musk is, according to a lot of reports, someone that no one around the president wants to even cross because he's so powerful. And he has leverage over this president because he spent $250 million to get him elected.
Look, the president was elected. He runs the government. Elon Musk is an agent of the executive branch at the direction of the president. And as the president said today, he's not doing anything that he doesn't have permission to do. And I will just remind you all, one of the things he was elected to do is to shake up Washington, stop doing business as usual, and rein in an out-of-control bureaucracy that, as the Congresswoman correctly pointed out, is spending money in ways that was never intended.
Scott Jennings saying, can we play it back? And really the whole panel is laughing at them. Right now the Democrats are so lost. What are these people doing? Chuck Schumer, go home, man. Retire. It's over, dog. It's over. Now the next clip you're going to watch, they talk about Trump, who today announced that he would like to take over the Gaza Strip. Do what you will with that. It's politics, it's negotiations. I'll give you my thoughts at the end of this clip because I don't really care too much, to be honest with all of you, what happens in the sandbox across the world. I care about America. But Scott Jennings here absolutely shuts down this Palestine reporter, and it is glorious. Let's go.
Human decency.
But also every UN resolution. It's a violation of International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court resolutions. What they are saying tonight to the world and to the international community, international law is dead.
Scott,
dead.
is international law dead? Because I think Rula is right in suggesting that that's basically what Trump is suggesting. Forcibly removing Palestinians from their land is against international law.
I think we're being a little dramatic, and we're on our jump to conclusions, Matt, here a little bit. He muses occasionally.
Taking him at his word.
He muses occasionally.
Look,
and
just to be clear,
it's
because
provocative.
you're suggesting that we are making this up or
No, I'm not suggesting
exaggerating
anything.
it.
No, now you're putting words in my mouth.
Well, I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying
you and I both know
Trump
he
said
muses occasionally, and he's aspirational, and he says provocative things
Scott,
occasionally.
I really don't want to interrupt you, but I just
You
for
don't?
my own, I think I have to come to my own defense here in saying Donald Trump, with his own words, said this is what he wants to do. He wasn't musing. He was looking down at a piece of paper. I've been in a room with him, just like that, with foreign leaders, looking down at a piece of paper. He is reading a statement that was prepared for him. Those are not musings.
Well,
So-
also, Scott,
so-
what happened to America first?
So I
this
think-
is the guy who was supposed to take us out of the endless wars, said he's against nation building.
You're stealing my
he
talking
railed
points?
against I am.
I know. Playing the role of Catherine tonight. Red.
I do want Scott.
But are you for the ethnic
I
cleansing
do
or
want
against
Scott
it?
to finish his point.
Look,
Go ahead,
I don't
Scott.
You're
know
not
that
for it?
I don't
You're
know
not
that I
against
agree
it?
with the terminology you're
Go
using.
ahead, Scott.
Here's what I think. It's provocative. It's an interesting conversation point. Donald Trump, he's the only person in the world speaking positively about this particular geography right now. And I will just say that
That's called
in the first term, he did something rather audacious with the Abraham Accords, highly successful. He's always thought positively and aspirationally about the Middle East. And I would just ask all of you all who are enraged about this, how's it going right now? How's the current management doing?
Not
really
is
all that
I
well.
to answer you, and that's
Terrible. Terrible.
because of Americans' weapons and American inability to enforce.
You're blaming us for the
Yes.
management
Well,
problems
Hamas
in
wasn't-
Gaza? Come on.
Wasn't doing a great job before.
Okay, let's be honest. We have a 58-year-old occupation that is illegal, that decimated people's hopes and lives, and I am the only Palestinian here. And I must say that it honestly, the fact that we are not able to put in perspective that's the history of that region. Before October 7th, hundreds of people were killed. After October 7th, still thousands and thousands of people are getting killed.
And what happened on that day?
For 58 years.
What happened on that day?
You know what? What happened on that day, actually, Secret Service of Israel had been predicted what happened on that day. What happened on that day is we had basically, a border that was, breached because we have a government in Israel, and as I am an Israeli-Palestinian government, we had a government in Israel that favored annexation and pogroms in the West Bank.
I'm just asking
Not
you what
only
happened that day.
I want to tell you something. We had a government, we had the prime minister who said Hamas is an asset. We need to finance Hamas. He's the one that sent to Doha the head of the Secret Service 3 weeks before October 7th to ask the Qataris to finance Hamas.
But you don't want
They
to say what happened.
considered-
You don't want to say what happened that day.
It's an atrocity that happened that day.
Yeah,
But
and
that
from where
atrocity
did
is
it emanate?
That atrocity is it doesn't justify the atrocities and the war crimes and the genocidal campaign that happened after
I totally
Scott.
reject everything you just said about genocide, war
Of course,
crimes.
but the International
Israel has every
Criminal
right to
Court
defend
does
itself.
not.
I don't want us to get
not by
I don't
committing
wanna-
war
I
crimes.
don't want us to get off course because I think that it is easy to redirect this conversation about October 7th when what we're talking about right now is what happens today and tomorrow and what comes next. And I want to ask you just a follow-up to what you said. Hold on. A follow-up to what you said. Trump is talking positively about the region, but in his view of Gaza, the Palestinians do not exist. How is that something that is positive for Palestinians? 2 million people that live there right now.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give a lot of details about how he envisions the future for that population, and I certainly am not in a position to flesh it out either, because I don't know what he means by that. Here's what I do know. Current management failing, a president of the United States who's speaking positively about what could be happening in that region, and you all talk about the Middle East being on fire, and nobody seems to want to acknowledge on whose watch it was set ablaze. And so, I think sometimes he tosses things out, and it's to start a conversation and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, her blaming the American weapons for what's happening in Gaza is a little bit rich. When you look at war-torn countries and they look at America, it's, oh, you're not giving us help, you're not giving enough help, you're not giving enough help. If you do help, it's like, well, stop being a white savior, or the problems are because of you, colonizer this, colonizer that. It's unbelievable. Now, going back to the first clip where they talk about Musk and they talk about USAID, which was one of the great slush funds of the deep state, as we're finding out. I heard someone talking about this a while back. This is a couple years ago. I forget who it was, but it was mentioned that you can always measure the effectiveness of something you're doing by the level of panic on the left. And right now, they are panicking about everything. I'd say the level of panic is in the high 90s for sure. Panicking about Musk, everything that Trump does. It feels like the guy's been there for a year, hasn't it? He's only been there for a couple of weeks in office, but he's achieved a lot and pissed off the left a lot that you feel like the guy's been there forever. But he knows where the bodies are buried. This is why we need Trump there right now to rip out the deep state, to cleanse us of these morons. Now, as I mentioned before this clip, I don't care too much what happens in Gaza. I really don't. We have enough problems in America. I think shutting down our border, which is happening, getting rid of the fentanyl that's killing a bunch of Americans every year, the homeless crisis, our Medicare system could be fixed. Hell, I got some roads around my place that I would like to be fixed. The opioid crisis. There's a lot of problems inside the country, a lot of natural disasters that have happened. I would like to see the people in America get money, get help, get their stuff fixed up, get our country's economy back booming, get more money in the pockets of American citizens before we try to go back and either start wars or clean up other countries. I think there's a lot of cleaning up that could be done here. Look at what happened with the hurricanes in North Carolina. I would much rather see that cleaned up than see Palestine cleaned up, a place where Hamas is running it, people that hate everything about our culture, that hate Western civilization, that are not Christian. But that is just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Always great to watch some Scott Jennings content. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.